If you're struggling to get consistent listings and feel like every lead source is tapped out, I'm about to show you a simple strategy that gets seller leads where nobody else is looking. So this is the exact playbook I use to get real estate clients without spending a dime on ads or buying leads. And it's not just me. Hundreds of agents are using this right now to land listings that they never would have found otherwise. Take Dan in Georgia. He took 2 verified listings, has 2 more in the pipeline, and is looking at over $71,000 in GCI. Or William on the East Coast. He took this playbook, got 1 signed listing, has another on the way for $19,000 in GCI. And here's the best part. I'm giving you everything that you need to do this. Step-by-step course, copy and paste ads, scripts, even live tutorials, all for free. And I don't have a course to sell you. There's no high-ticket coaching program coming at the end of this video. Just like the video, share it with a friend, and comment below that you've done it, and I'll send you a private link to get everything. I'm Chris Jones, founder of Guerrilla Realty, and this strategy changed my business. Let me show you how it can change yours. Here's what you're going to learn in this video. 1, the best source for seller leads. I want you to stop competing with every other agent for the same leads. I'm going to show you an untapped source of motivated sellers that almost no one else is using. So you can generate high quality leads and you don't have to spend a dime on ads. 2, then I'm going to show you how to convert leads. So knowing where to get the leads is one thing, but actually going out and getting the names and phone numbers is a whole other thing. So I'm going to break it all down for you step by step. And then 3, how to convert the leads into listings. So once you have the names and phone numbers, I'll show you how to convert them into a seller appointment and ultimately a signed listing. All right, let's dive into lesson number 1, the best source for seller leads. So I want you to imagine for just a moment a source for seller leads where there is zero competition, right? Where you don't have to hear, oh, you're like the 7th realtor who called me today, right? So no competition. I also want you to imagine you don't have to cold call for 4+ hours a day. So FSBOs, expireds, circle prospecting, divorce, probate, etc. All of those, you're cold calling for hours to convert maybe 1 solid lead or 1 solid appointment, right? Then I want you to imagine there is an unending supply. So as with all the lead sources I just mentioned, right? You can call through the list, but when you're done, you're done. You can't make more, right? So we found a source for seller leads where you can always go out and get more any day of the week. And then finally, I want you to imagine a lead source where they actually want to talk to you. So in this business, being a realtor, so many of you are getting cussed out and hung up on a daily basis. I want you to imagine what it would feel like if you had a source for seller leads where they actually wanted to talk to you, right? So when I use the source that I'm about to unveil to you, almost every single time I talk to someone, they say, oh my gosh, Chris, I'm so glad you called, right? And so I want you to imagine this is a total game changer for me, just on an emotional level. It's much more enjoyable to work with this lead source because the leads actually want to talk to me. So what is this magical source for seller leads that meets all these criteria, Chris, right? It's buyer leads, right? And I know I'm blowing your mind right now. How could buyer leads be a source for seller leads? But I'm actually going to prove it to you with numbers, right? So what you're looking at is a pie chart. We made this pie chart from data that we received from NAR 2024. So this comes from the big report they put out every year, the NAR profile of home buyers and sellers 2024. So this is very recent data. And what you're looking at is a pie chart that represents all of the buyers in your market today. And I don't care how slow things are, how fast things are, you've got a truckload of buyers that are closing on properties in your market every single day, right? So let's take a look at this red slice of the pie first, right? 25% of all the buyers in your market today are first-time home buyers, right? So by definition, they have nothing to sell because this is their first time ever buying anything, right? Now, let's look at the yellow slice of the pie. 21% of all the buyers in your market on average are going to be non-primary purchases. So that means an investment home, a vacation home, something along those lines, where they're adding a property to their portfolio rather than replacing their principal residence. But here's what that means. They're also not selling anything. But here's what's cool, okay? So we're going to ignore those, right? Those are the buyers that we're not interested in. But it leaves this giant blue slice of pie, 54% of all the buyers in your market today that are also known as, you probably already guessed it by now, sellers. These are people who are upgrading. These are people who are downsizing. These are people who are moving laterally or to a new neighborhood or closer to work or closer to family, right? And these people have a home to sell. And we're going to break down our entire process for how to convert a buyer lead into a seller lead. So let me show you the math on how it'll work. And I'll move my face out of the way to do that. Okay. It's really simple. I want you to imagine that you started with a marketing playbook that gets you 80 leads per month. Now, I know for a lot of you guys, that's a really big assumption. Most of you guys aren't generating 80 leads per month. But I'm going to walk you through, in this video, I'm going to walk you through a marketing playbook that will get you 80 buyer leads per month. So imagine that you are starting with 80 buyer leads. Okay. According to the math, we know that 43 of them are going to be selling their home, right? Do the math. 54% are going to be selling their current home. 80 times 0.54 is 43. So now we have the names and phone numbers. We started with the names and phone numbers of 80 buyer leads. And now we have the names and phone numbers of 43 sellers. Does that sound good to you? Unfortunately, that's not the whole story. So we've got to look at what percentage are going to be relocation. So roughly 24% are going to be relocating to your area. It means they're moving from outside your area to inside your area. You're not going to represent them in the sale of their property. Now, you could refer it if you want to, but that's the best case scenario. So but the flip side of that is that 76% are going to be local. So 43 times 0.76 equals 33. So now we've got 33 local sellers. We got their names and phone numbers. This is sounding pretty good to you? Unfortunately, of course, that's not the whole story either. So the typical answer rate when you actually go to get a hold of these people, right? We live in 2025. Everyone's got caller ID baked right into their smartphone, and not everyone's going to answer numbers they don't recognize. So typical answer rate, we do a little better than this, but typical answer rate for you guys is going to be about 55%, which means you're having 18 conversations with local seller leads, and all you had to do was start with the 80 buyer leads. Right? This actually sounded pretty good. And this is where all the magic happens. So this is where we apply what we call our seller conversion script. And I'm actually going to give you a download of that today, and I'm going to role play it for you and see how it works. But this is where the magic happens. And when you apply that script here, the result is going to be 13 legitimate white hot CMA requests. This script typically converts at a 75% clip. We actually convert on our team close to 100%, as close as you can get to 100%. As possible. And then typically the results are 3 to 6 signed listings per month. We do a lot better than that. But even if you're just trying this for the first time, that would be typical results. 13 CMA requests, people who said, hey, Chris, what's my home worth if I were to sell it in the next few months, right? So this is the breakdown on the numbers. And I want to remind you, do you want 13 CMA requests every single month? I mean, think about how many listings would you be taking if you got 13 CMA requests every single month like clockwork. So if you want that, you've got to start with the 80 buyer leads, right? And most of you are not already generating 80 buyer leads. So I'm going to walk you through our process on how to do that, all right? So this is lesson number 2, how to get the lead. So now you know the lead source, but now I need to walk you through how to actually get their names and phone numbers, how to get the lead, all right? And we call this the classified ads playbook. So you guys know, me and my brother Levi, our company Guerrilla Realty, we're responsible for publishing 31 at the time of this video, 31 marketing playbooks. And we're always testing new ideas. And one of those ideas is going to become our 32nd marketing playbook. We've got 31 marketing playbooks. The one I'm going to show you today is probably hands down the easiest one for anyone to implement, no matter what your background is. All right. So the classifieds playbook, we're going to give you a download. Remember, all you have to do is like this video, share it with a friend, comment below that you did that, and we'll give you a private link, the entire swipe file, everything you need in order to get started. So it costs you absolutely nothing to run this playbook. These are not paid ads. It doesn't take you a lot of time. Another reason why I'm recommending that right now. And the result is very high volume of leads. About 80 leads per month would be typical results. Some people do more, some people do less. And the difficulty rating is easy. So from all 31 playbooks, our difficulty rating goes from easy to advanced. This one's very easy, even if you have no technology background. So I'm going to walk you through the high points of it, and then I'm going to give you some tips. But remember, if you want the whole swipe file, the playbook itself, you're going to want to like this video, share it with a friend, and then comment that you did that, and we'll send you a private link to get it. Right? So classifieds ad playbook goes like this. Step 1 is you're going to borrow a listing. You do not need your own listing to get started on this. We borrow listings all the time. We'll show you how to do that. You can borrow from your broker, your team leader, your colleagues, your bestie from across town. You can even borrow from your competitors. That's what I do. Right? So step 1 is we're going to teach you the best way to borrow a listing. Step 2 is then you're going to write a high converting classified ad. And this part can be very tricky. The good news is inside the playbook, if you're willing to download that, we give lots of copy and paste ads that you can literally just fill out Mad Lib style and post directly to the classified site. Step 3 is post to the top 3 classified sites in your area. All right. So I'll show you which ones those are. And then step 4 is get leads. And then you're going to rinse and repeat 6 times. That may not sound like a step, but if you want consistent results from a classified ad playbook, you really need to be starting with 6 ads that you're rinsing and repeating over and over and over, and you're refreshing on a specific schedule, right? So to continue lesson number 2, how to write the ad, I'm going to give you some quick tips. And remember, you're going to want to download our copy and paste ads. If you want to get results like us, you're going to want the ads that we use. But some tips on writing the ad is, first of all, do not list the price. So no matter where you're listing, whether it's Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, or some other site, we never list the price. Some of those sites require that you list a price, and so we always just put $1. That's kind of like the universal language for I'm not telling you the price until you click through for more information, right? Wait, Chris, what are you saying? That's what everybody wants to know. That's exactly right, right? What we want to do is we want to pique their curiosity but not satisfy it. And we want to take that energy. They want to know more about this property, and we want to drive it into an action at the end of the ad. And that's how you're going to get leads, right? And so that applies to the next lesson too, or the next tip, which is limit your photos to just 2 or 3. So typically we do a couple of exterior shots, maybe 1 shot from inside the property, but we don't show them everything that they want to know, because if we did, it would satisfy their curiosity and they'd scroll on to the next ad. And then the ad itself doesn't have to be complicated. So normally, if you're not using our AI ad writing tool inside of Pipeline Pro Tools, then we recommend to keep it simple, 5 favorite selling features, right? So whatever your favorite selling features are, the property that you're advertising, put them in a bullet list format, and that's the ad itself, followed by a clear call to action where the user can get more information by interacting with one of your 3 lead devices. And if you don't have any lead capture, we'll talk about that in just a moment. All right. Now, once you have the ad and you're ready to copy and paste it into various classified sites, let me show you where to post it. We recommend that you use the top 3 sources in your area. And I'm going to walk you through what we do, right? So first, probably the top traffic getter is either Craigslist or Marketplace, but Craigslist is free. It's very high traffic, and it ranks on the first page of Google, usually inside of like 10 minutes of your ad going live. I bet you didn't know that, right? Next, we recommend Facebook Marketplace, which is free. It's very high traffic, probably actually eclipsed Craigslist traffic in the last year or 2. And it also allows an opportunity where you can turn those hyperlinks active, which gets you a lot more click-throughs. We'll show you that in a separate video. Then there's Oodle. Most of you guys have not heard of Oodle, but it's free. Medium traffic, syndicates to Redfin, which does get a lot more eyeballs on the listing. And then there's Realty WW. Again, most of you guys haven't heard of it. It's free, medium traffic, and then there's Kijiji, and this one's Canada only. So obviously, Lady Liberty represents that this is available in the U.S. Little maple leaf means it's available in Canada. Most of you U.S. agents have never heard of Kijiji, but it is free, it's medium traffic, and it's Canada only, right? So whether you're in the U.S. or Canada, there's at least 3 sites for you to post to, and you're just going to post to the top 3 in your area, right? So now we've covered writing the ad, where to post. Now we're going to cover probably the most important part, lead capture, right? So you need professional marketing tools. Most agents, depending on what company you're with, you're given some kind of free CRM platform, things like KV Core, KW Command, Sync, Brevity, Follow Up Boss, etc. Okay, most of your companies are providing one of those platforms for you. You need a little more than that. You need professional marketing tools with single property websites, ideally that you can build in less than 10 seconds. We have another video showing you our single property websites that are built in less than 10 seconds. But the key is you need a minimum 10% capture rate. Chris, what's a capture rate? That means that for every 100 people that visit your website, 10 of them need to fill out the name, phone number, email address, and result in a lead. If they're not, that's like a bare minimum, okay? If they're not, you're always going to struggle to get traction with this strategy, okay? And I've got some bad news for you guys. The typical realtor website, I'm talking about the KV Core ones. KV Core is a fantastic company. KW Command, Keller Williams, fantastic company. The typical realtor website captures less than 1%, right? I mean, 100 people visit your website, less than one of them, not even a whole person, is going to fill out their name, phone number, and email address. Our single property websites with Pro Tools capture at 37%. But even if you can't afford Pro Tools or you're not ready to get Pro Tools, you could use a free Google form and it'll probably capture close to 10% typically. Okay. But if you're not getting at least 10%, don't even try this strategy because you're always going to struggle. It's going to be very frustrating. You're never going to get traction. Okay. Here's a screen grab of the single property websites that we use. These are automatically generated through Pro Tools. That's our company's flagship product. It does cost money, fair warning. But again, there's a free way that you could do this through free Google Forms. But we capture at 37%. And the reason why we're able to do that is because we're always running different A/B tests to increase the capture rate, maximize it as high as possible. But the result is name and phone number, email address. They click submit, and then they log directly into a beautiful single property website where you can even advertise the buyer agent fee paid by the seller and all the other details that the user is looking for. Right. And obviously that's going to result in a lot of leads on a regular basis. Okay. This brings us to lesson number 3. Once you've actually captured the name and phone number, how do you convert it into a listing appointment? All right. So you're going to get my seller conversion script. It's available at callster.io. This is a free app that we built. And remember, every tool and resource that I mentioned during today's video, you can get it just by liking the video, sharing it with a friend, and then commenting below that you did it. And of course, we'll send you a private link with the entire swipe file. So get my seller conversion script. You're going to have a reach rate typically around 55%. That means 55% of people are actually going to answer the phone. And then you're going to have a 75% success rate if you're following the script the way that I'm about to teach it. And the result is going to be 13 CMA requests every single month. Can you imagine how good that would feel to have 13 people asking you every single month, what's my home worth if I were to sell it soon? All right. So I'm going to turn my face back on and I'm actually going to role play this next part for you. All right. So this is what we call my seller conversion script, and you can download the whole thing from callster.io. But I'm going to walk you through the high points of it right now. So the seller conversion script starts like any normal buyer script, where you tell them, hey, I saw that you were interested in one of the listings that we advertised on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. For example, 323 Whitney Drive or 123 Elm Street. And then we always walk right into it. We always ask them the same question. Did you find everything that you need? Right? Or some version of that. And how many of you guys already know what their answer is going to be? So I say, did you find everything you need? And they tell me, yep, I'm all set. We call this the insurmountable wall, right? So I like to do a little sound effect, shunk, right? So once they find out that you're a realtor, they're going to put up the insurmountable wall because they're terrified of you. They think you're just like every other realtor they ever met. And they're going to tell you, yep, I'm all set. No, thanks. I'm just looking. I'm good to go. Whatever version, they're going to put up their insurmountable wall. And most of us struggle with what's next, right? So how do you break through the insurmountable wall? And we found a very simple yet very effective way to bust through the insurmountable wall every single time. And we call it the irresistible bribe. And so this is where you're going to insert my seller conversion script, but I'm going to role play it for you on this video really quickly. It goes like this. When they say, yep, I'm all set, you let them know, okay, no problem. But before I let you go, can I ask, whenever you find the home that you're eventually going to buy, will you be listing your current home for sale or will you be keeping it? All right. And the scripting is very important if you want to get the results that we get. All right. So I'm going to repeat it one more time. Okay, no problem. But whenever you eventually find the home that you're going to buy, are you going to be listing your current home for sale or will you be keeping it? And you'll get an honest answer every single time with the scripting. Right. And so remember, 46% of the time, they're going to tell you either they're a first-time home buyer, they live with their mom or they're renting, or they're an investor or they're buying a vacation home. Right. They're not selling anything. But 56% of the time, they're going to tell you, no, we're not rich. We just have to find a replacement home before we even think about selling. So we don't want to be homeless, right? Ding, 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 ding. You just got yourself a listing lead. And this is where we insert what we call the irresistible bribe, right? So when we know that we have a listing lead, then we're going to tell them, oh, well, we have a free service that might be helpful to you. It's called a bulletproof CMA. It's a 50-point in-depth analysis that'll tell you exactly what your home was worth if you were to sell it in the next 3 months. It's every bit as accurate as a professional appraisal. The only difference is appraisals cost like $1,000 and they take over a week to come in. We do this for free and we can have it to you by tomorrow. Would that be helpful if you knew what your home would list for if you were to sell it in the next three to 6 months? The best part is there's no obligation to list with us. We just do this because we're really passionate about helping people buy and sell in our insert your market, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Right? And that's it. Okay. Shut up. Wait for their answer. 75% of the time or more, they're going to tell you, yes, that's how easy it is to convert a seller lead from a buyer lead. Right? And that's it. Once you've got the CMA request, typically I will do a bulletproof CMA. We have another video on the bulletproof CMA if you want to just search our channel for that. Once you've completed the CMA, then I normally recommend that you show up at the house, do a quick walk around, and then deliver it in person. But there's plenty of time to talk strategies and how to book the listing appointment from there. But that's how you convert a buyer lead into a seller lead after you get the phone number. Look, we've doubled our real estate business 3 times since 2019. If you want the full breakdown, exact scripts, step-by-step processes, and our brand new tool, drop a comment below.
No gimmicks, no paywalls. We're sending it completely free because we know it works.
Just type send it in the comments and we'll get it to you ASAP.
And if this was helpful, stick with us. We're dropping more strategies twice a week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next.